Hello everyone, happy Wednesday, happy scoping out. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm really diving into this. Excuse me, terrible time to grab a cough there. Today's topic is scoping out the write down as your tool to overcoming shock, disbelief, grief, pain, and all of those things. And I'm really getting raw and bare with you today because a couple of weeks ago, if you remember, I shared with you that a lot of times as you see people who are sharing tools and ideas and the kinds of things that I'm doing in this vein, right? You get the montage of the falling apart. You get the retrospect version of, believe me, it was so hard, right? And you're like, yeah, hard for you, but you're you. This is really hard for me. And I woke up today just in absolute angst over the results of the election last night. I'm just gonna be perfectly frank with you. And I went back and forth about whether or not to do a scope today. And I thought, you know what? Let's not give them the montage. Let's give them what this actually looks like so that they can see real time that even the people who teach this stuff, even the people who create these tools and deliver these tools have these issues and are going through these pains. So here's what happened to me. Obviously, today's, who knows how long this this recording is going to last on the internet. It's the day after the election. And last night, my children and I watched in abject horror as the results came out. And there was a moment when both of my kids were in the room, and my son, who is a cynic, who for all of these years of me saying there's more good in people than there is bad, there's more good people than there are bad people, we are all changing, humanity is evolving and growing, he's come to really not believe that, basically. He's come to just basically be like, nah, you're full of shit. There are some good people, but, you know, to him, about 95% of the world exists in either neutral or bad. And then there's my daughter, who is incredibly intuitive, and she's an empath. She feels feelings to the depths of feelings, and she's in the same room, right? So she's feeling all this angst, especially over the course of this election season, but she's been feeling it for years. Every time I say things like, there's more good people than bad people, we're moving in the right direction, humanity is evolving, there is a part of her that goes, oh my God, I hope so. Please let it be so, because this hurts. So last night, there was this moment when we had done the math over and over and over and over and over again. We had done the math for hours and realized that in all likelihood, we were going to end up with what I've come to call the least as our president. And my son looked at me like, yeah, I knew that 95% of the world are either neutral or awful. And my daughter was in tears, and she looked at me like, where's all the hope? What happened to the hope? Where'd the hope go? And my heart was broken, so I couldn't even offer anything to them. And we all went our separate ways, just hoping that after a good night's sleep, things would be better. Well, I didn't sleep. I don't know how you slept. I didn't sleep. And this morning, woke up to a pitch black room. This morning, it was 3:30 in the morning, almost 4 o'clock, I guess. And realized that the least had won. And I've come to call him the least because in my morning rant and in my addled, sleep-deprived brain, right, I went to my angry place. And I have told you, as a coach, I do feel angry, I do feel hurt, I do feel confused. You always see these after I've pulled all my pieces together and put them back in place, right? You always see this after the fact. This morning, just hours ago, I woke up in absolute darkness, realized the reality of my day, and all I could see was those kids' face. All I could see was my children's faces going, yeah, people are assholes. And Mom, where's the hope? Right? Like, that's all I could see, and I just cried. I just cried in my bed this morning. Just cried. And then I got angry. I was like, how is it that the person who is the least generous, the least smart, the least kind, the least prepared, the least knowledgeable, the least compassionate, the least forgiving, the least mature, the least evolved, how is it that person gets what he wants? How is it that person gets rewarded? Right? I was so angry and I was so mad. And it just so happens a friend of mine texted me, "Are you doing okay?" We were texting all night last night during the results, and I went off on her, and I was upset, and I said, I'm journaling. I got to get up and I got to journal. A student of mine years ago, she was a student of mine when I was trading currencies and teaching people how to trade currencies. And she said, yeah, the military says after shock and disbelief, you get up and you make coffee. You stick to your routine. You do the thing that is routine until you can manage all of that stuff that you've got to manage. And my coffee, my routine, is I get up and I journal. Before I look at any social media, before I do anything, before I look at email, before anything, I journal and then I meditate. I'm like, okay, Triff, get up and make coffee. So I'm journaling and I'm journaling all this stuff. And how is this? Oh my gosh, I thought we were better than this. I thought humanity was moving forward. How is it we're going so far backward? And my friend's texting me during some of this. And it's funny because I love the fact that she's the one talking me off the ledge this time. I love this total role reversal. She's going, people didn't vote for hate, Triffany. People voted for change. And I'm like, yeah, but you know what? Either they have hate in their heart and that's okay, or the hate they have is latent and they don't see it. And now that it's okay, they have no reason to go looking for it. And they just modeled to all of their children and anybody who's looking for themselves that hate gets rewarded. That ugliness and misogyny and xenophobia gets rewarded. I was so mad. And she was like, just feel what you feel. Okay. I'm journaling and I'm going through it all. Okay, so I journaled. That was my first thing. It's the first thing I did. And then I just took a beat. I went to my Course in Miracles. I went back. I actually looked back at some of the texts that my friend and I had just shared as she was talking me off the ledge. And I'm still mad and I'm still angry. Okay, what's next in my routine, right? What's my next cup of coffee to use that same analogy? What's that next thing for me? I gotta meditate. I gotta meditate. I'm mad. I'm steaming and I still have tears and I'm crying and I'm a frigging mess this morning. So disheartened. And that's the word I kept telling my friend this morning. I'm just heartbroken. I'm absolutely heartbroken for humanity. I'm heartbroken that this is the path we've chosen, that this is what we have accepted. I'm so sad. So I calmed myself down. It was really hard to get into my meditation. Really hard to get in my meditation. And all I could see once I finally got in there were my own tools. I saw the homepage of my course, Fail to Win. That's all I could see. Now, for those of you who don't know, I made a little thing for you. Fail to win. Because you've got to be willing to fail to win, right? And this is an acronym for All is Love. And it's a set of tools you go through when you're going through some serious shit. And I went, all right, Triff, use your own tools. What are you for in life? What's worth standing up for you? Compassion, inclusivity, forgiveness. Okay. Right. I'll think about all of those things and log those down. It all serves you. Even the hard times, even the ugliness, it all serves you. So how does this serve you? Well, this gives me an opportunity to be grateful for my friend this morning who talked me off the ledge. Total role reversal. So thankful for her. Or at least she tried. I was a wreck. I was a mess. I was so mad. This gives me an opportunity to exercise grace toward the people who thought they were voting for change, not even understanding what they were voting for, not even understanding that they just normalized hate and bigotry. They're doing the best they can. They think they did the right thing. They have no clue. No clue. They just modeled for all of their children and all the generations that assholes get rewarded. Opportunity to practice grace, right? It's my opportunity to model forgiveness as I learn. Remember, forgiveness isn't saying it's okay. Forgiveness is collecting the energy you've given to that situation. Now, I'm not in that place today. I'm going to tell you right now, there's no forgiveness going on here today. I am in my grief. I'm in my shock. I'm in my horror. And that is where I'm at today. And I know that at some point I will be modeling forgiveness and letting this go. So there's the opportunity. That's how this is perfect. It all serves. Where's my is? What is it about me that makes me special? I call forgiveness my superpower. Boom. There we go. Right? And then love, grace, compassion, forgiveness. All of those practices we do to clean the slate so that we can be who we truly are. And as I went through this process, with myself as I went through this simple little acronym, my own tools, the things that I use. I went from how is the least knowledgeable, the least generous, the least compassionate, the least kind, the least evolved. I changed the least. So now that man is the least able to take my hope, the least able to nudge me out of my lane. The least able to keep me from evolving. The least able to tell me who I am. The least able to create what's normal in my life. I get to create that. I am the most powerful person in my life. So this man, who I now call the least, went from the least evolved, the least compassionate, the least generous, to the least powerful. He is the least powerful person in my life. And I did all of that by staying present to what was in the moment. Through my shock and my grief, I had no intention of healing any of this. I didn't care if this scope today was going to just be a rant about how awful he was. I really didn't. I was going to come at you in full authenticity to show you what's behind that montage, to show you the wreck that happens when we're in the midst of all of this awfulness. And yet, because I could stay present, because I could get up and get coffee, as that student of mine once said, I could be present to that process. I naturally and effortlessly, in every single moment, came to this place where at least in the right now I could find grace. At least in the right now I could find a path out of this. At least in the right now I could stop being so angry and I could come to grace. Now that's not to say today I'm not going to get angry again. I probably will. And I might get triggered by some of the things. I've got this Fail to Win course today where we're doing group coaching. I have one-on-one coaching clients today. I have group membership. I have the membership coaching today. I am coaching people, and I'm going to be coaching people who agree with me, and I'm going to be coaching people who don't. And in every single moment, my job, my gift, my practice is staying present to right now. Right now I have a roof over my head. Right now I am clothed. Right now I have the possibility of being fed. I don't have much of an appetite, but I can at least eat. Right now my kids are home and happy and they're not happy. They're healthy. They're safe. Right now everything is okay. And the more I return to right now, this moment, the more I realize I don't have much to be angry about. And even when my brain moves to the thing that I am hurt by, the thing that hurts me to the depths about human evolution, about all of my hope for humanity. Oh, speaking of family, even when my heart moves to that place, when I get really super present, I recognize it all as an opportunity to practice standing in my power. To take my power back. Not even from that person, but from my thoughts around that person, from my hurt around that person, for what I've made it mean, for what I've created. Understand? So when you are in shock, when you are in the depths of grief, when you are in the midst of everything, just get super, super present, get dialed in right down to what is going on right now. You can deal with the big picture later. Like I said, some of the things and these are my opportunities to practice stuff, they're probably not going to happen a whole lot today. I'm going to be nose to the grindstone, get through my work day, deal with my stuff in between. That's okay. And I will be grieving this for a while. And I will find my way back to hope. I will find the proof. There's lots of proof that we are evolving, that we are moving forward, that this is not a de-evolution of ourselves spiritually, energetically, personally, morally. And I know in my heart of hearts that, we do this as individuals, right? We forget who we are so that we can know ourselves more deeply. We're doing this as a collective. We are not his hate. We are not his bigotry, his xenophobia, his sexism. We are not his selfishness. We are not those things. So the inevitable conclusion is that this is just one of those backslides. that we need to deconstruct what it is that makes us truly great as individuals, so that when we come back to this collective, we are truly great, and we are creating that rising tide that lifts all ships. I guess that's all I have to say. For those of you who are happy for this outcome, I'm glad you're having a good day. I'm glad that you voted your conscience, and I'm glad that you are doing the best that you know how. And I'm sure I've said some things in here that may not make you feel so good, and I'm sorry. Understand they're coming through my lens of grief. They're coming through my lens of hurt, and that's your opportunity to practice grace with me.